Turbo also get hot. Hot air, not good for motor. Cooler air, better for motor. Equals more boom. It's quite polar opposite to what we do here, which is no design, no intelligence, and no professionalism. We just... I have been stupid busy. Stupid busy. We have a lot to do. I don't even know where we're gonna, I don't even know. My truck needs brakes, it needs spark plugs. I'm leaking oil from the places. Jeep. I have before you a bunch of parts. I'll go over that. That is going to be, we're gonna have 1,000 horsepower capable fuel system. We need an intercooler. This is not the radiator we're using, but it's still here. We need an intercooler. Why? I'm glad you asked. This is a turbo. Turbo is driven by exhaust. Exhaust is hot. Turbo also get hot. Hot air, not good for motor. Cooler air, better for motor. Make air molecules tiny, equals more oxygen, equals more boom. Google that. I don't know if that's factual, but that's my take on it. So we need an intercooler. We could run a water to air intercooler. Let me tell you why that's not the greatest setup in the world. For water to air intercooler, you have something that we could probably find to fit right about here. It has water lines going to it and an electric fuel pump that will all be fed from a tank in the back filled with water. You will also need a heat exchanger, which is like basically a mini radiator for that water, so that when the hot boost comes in and heats up the water, it goes through and then back to the pump and is cooler than it was after it got heated up by the turbo. The problem with that is it's not very efficient. For drag racing, it's very efficient because you could fill that container in the back with ice. By the time you do your pass, most of that ice is completely gone and the water is, it could be hot at that point, like depending on your setup. So for street use, not very efficient. For track use, pretty dang efficient. I don't know what the ratio of track to street use for this vehicle is gonna be yet, but ideally, if I wanted to go rip it on the street, I'd like that to be an option. Also, the water to air gets expensive because, as I explained, we need an intercooler, we need a water line. Basically, we need a tiny fuel cell or a large radiator reservoir for back there. We need an electric water pump. We need a heat exchanger. That's a lot of freaking parts all added where we could just put an intercooler in front. Now, I'm with all of you guys in saying that an intercooler in front of the grill, there's a huge chance it's going to ruin the face of the Jeep. But there's one way to find out, and we can do that right now. So that looks like crap, and we can't put it that low. That looks really bad, and you can't even see that it's a Jeep anymore. As you can see, I'm a little lost in this department, and as I'm making this video, I have no idea where it's gonna lead, and I don't know what we're gonna do. I have gone as far as thinking we could do 2 half-size intercoolers, like from GTIs. They have these little tiny, watch this, little half-size ones like this. So I went as far as thinking if we were able to mount one on that side and one over here, that could, I mean, it's not gonna be great, but it could work. I don't even know where we could mount something this small. Now, many of you, which I appreciate your creativity and thinking, simply said, move the grill forward so you could fit one. Well, the obvious answer to why I don't wanna do that is I spent 3.5 months making that hood look decent. Extend the grill forward and now the hood doesn't fit. So yeah, we could go into all the stuff, you know, we could extend these and then, you know, we'd have a gap and then we could fill it and we could do all that. But I'm trying to think of a simpler way to do that without completely, I'm not gonna redo the hood. Moving the grill forward is definitely possible. We have, so that's probably about, yeah, so about 3 inches, which would be enough to fit a 3-inch radiator. It'd be tight with, or an intercooler, it'd be tight with the radiator, but it could probably work. Do I wanna do that? No. So what are my options? I have no idea. This is part of the reason why I haven't been doing a Jeep video, because there hasn't been a lot that I could just, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Let's go freaking do it. Instead, I bought parts and they've been sitting here because I don't know what to do next. So what are we gonna do next? I still don't know. I just told you that. So please take this brief blink of an eye for you to allow me to ponder what we could do. Because like I said, I do know. What I'm about to show you might make some of you cringe, so let me explain it to you before you get upset, and I'll walk you through what I think the official plan is. And I've said that a couple times, but I think this is just hands down the most efficient way to do this. It's not the easiest way, but it is what it is. This project has been easy, so might as well finish it off with another painstaking, I don't want to do this, but we have to do it. So here's what we got. That's not what I'm going to be using, but I have decided the most efficient, an air-to-water intercooler, even the smallest and efficient one for its size, isn't even going to fit here with a radiator here and like the height and everything. So we can't do that. This is only going to work if we do the radiator in the rear. So I found one a couple months ago, me and my friend Isaac, and it fit right in the center of the grill, so it didn't affect the headlights at all. So I'm going to find that, I'm going to order it. Basically, it sat right here. One went in, I think it was angled back, and then the other one was angled back as well, and they're both on the top. So it'll just be shloop and shloop. Okay, so intercooler, done. That's all we got up front. Now, let me get into what I've purchased. So here we have a MagnaFuel 750. I went quite out of my comfort zone as far as how much money I spent, because I don't spend money. So we have that. It is an external fuel pump. We have an eBay fuel cell, because I was told it was going to be okay. We have an Aeromotive fuel regulator. Look, there we are. Hello. Summit Racing, very generic, basic fuel rails, but nonetheless an upgrade. They're just like a textured black. So what I'm waiting on are, we have a post and a pre-filter for that. All of the lines, so we're gonna do, there's 2 outlets. So we're gonna run both of those to that pump, and then a big fat line all the way up to feed. And then we'll have a return that we'll probably just use one of these and cap the other. This thing's pretty, I think this cell was like $110 or something like that. I don't even know how to, yeah, just like that. So between that, the injectors, the fuel lines, the pump, the regulator, the fuel system in this thing should be very close to capable of 1,000 horsepower. I do not intend to reach that just yet, but it's good to know that we won't really have to touch the fuel system for the time being. Also, this means I can get rid of the saddlebags, so we'll take off some weight only by adding more. That's a 20-gallon fuel cell. Now, I know what you're thinking here, big, tall, and ugly. So let me explain. That's just there for mock-up purposes. What I'm thinking is I want to find a radiator similar to that, where it's short and long. So I'm going to shop for one that will go from about here all the way to there. That way we have a ton of surface area. Now, I also don't like the idea of my face being right behind boiling hot coolant. So I want to build a little tiny shroud that'll just go over and basically cover just the top of the radiator, so that if anything does spray, it's not going to spray directly. That way it'll shoot up and splatter over here and get the guy behind me, while still allowing an opening for whatever airflow comes up and over the Jeep. And then we'll have 2 fans on the back pulling. So something, I'm thinking probably something about this tall. So maybe just a little taller than that, but I'm going to shop for a weird one for some weird truck or something that's just extra long and not very tall. Somewhere, I don't even know, I have an external water pump that I got from Casey Cole from one of his drift cars. They used it for a season. It was on the old bug setup with that chassis, and it worked really well for the 5 miles we put on it. So it's a good running pump, and so we're going to use that to send the coolant back. I told you a while ago, sorry, I'm shocked that I actually have just decided to do this right now, because this is what I've been fighting this whole time. Like, yeah, I don't know what to do. And then, okay, so I got it. So got those forever ago. So those will be the hard lines for the coolant to go back. That's going to be kind of a fun challenge as well. There's not a lot of room to go back without hugging the exhaust. So the fact being is, this is what I'm committing to, so I have to figure it out. So that's all there is to that. So we'll figure that out. Hard lines, back to the radiator, pump it back. I was also advised by Casey to do what is called a swirl tank or a swirl pot, I think, and basically it just helps the coolant and the air separate, because doing a rear radiator setup causes a lot of bleeding issues. So basically with that, it will eliminate most of those issues. Also, I was thinking about tilting it, but I figured if it's upright, it's going to bleed that much easier, because the air is going to have a more direct path to go up instead of coasting up a nice gradual hill. This video is just an update because I now know what I'm going to buy. I'm getting my next big paycheck in a couple days, and I'm going to spend all of it basically. It hurts to... wanted to tell you guys what we got going. I know it's been a minute since we've done really anything exciting on the channel. Probably the most exciting thing other than buying that fuel stuff is this Harbor Freight jack, which I tell you what, it's fantastic. Anyways, it really is. I recommend it. I'm really, I'm so indecisive on all this. This is like, they say like the last, what is it? The last 10% of the build is the hardest part. And that's because it's tedious. And right now, this is kind of the hard part, is doing all the final details, even though these are kind of big details. That's what I got going on right there. That's the plan. So I still need to order injectors, and I'm gonna have JR from JNS, he's gonna come by and just so I don't screw it up, he's right down the street. He's gonna come by and measure what we need for fuel lines and kind of help me with that. He's gonna help me go through like a once over of the motor, make sure everything's good. I haven't decided if I want to do head bolts or head studs. I don't know, but I know head studs are better, but from the last time I looked, there's a huge price difference. And we're probably gonna upgrade heads down the road. I've been over that, blah, blah, blah. So air-to-air intercooler, simple in, out, boom. Radiator in the back, fuel cell, big fat fuel lines, big fat fuel pump, fuel rails. Roll cage is next. I'm waiting on Hayden from Meticulous. He's slammed, and it's not a rush. We could do a lot of this without knowing. I just need to make sure. So the frame rails are right here. So I just need to make sure this is open and this fits perfectly in between the two, which is great. And then the radiator will be short enough to where it doesn't really matter where it sits, and those bars will just come right over it. Like I said, guys, I've been stupid busy, and I've really been trying to put something out, but everything's just been kind of poopity-boopity-boo. But this is good game plan. I'm committed to it. I'm going to order that. I got enough to order the intercooler tonight. I'm going to talk to JR probably tomorrow. I think the pre and post filters are there, so I'll go pick those up and pick his brain about what we're doing. Get in touch with Casey Cole and figure out, he's an expert in rear mount radiators. I don't think they've posted in a while, but their channel is M-Spec Performance. Their drift builds are just absolutely, I mean, they're just insane. The detail and the professionalism and the design and the intelligence that goes into that is quite polar opposite to what we do here, which is no design, no intelligence, and no professionalism. We just put it all together. So that's what I got. Not a whole lot, but you needed to know what's been going on. That works great. This is on my mind. Same stuff, different day. I don't think I have anything else for you, unfortunately. So that is what it is. I'm going to spend a bunch of money in the next week. Hopefully some of it gets here and we can really start rolling. That's all I got. You guys have been sending me parts. Thanks for your support. Busy. House is almost done, so that'll be out of the way. We're moving in this weekend. That's been a huge... Okay. That's what we got. That's what we're doing. That's where we're going. Lots of little details, but we're moving on it now. That's the official decision, and that's what we're doing. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys as soon as I can. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you. We'll see you sometime. I'll have something exciting for you next time. Maybe. I don't know. Stop back by and see. Okay, guys. Bye-bye.